Hey everybody, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. Instead of an Everyday Explorer stamp video, I am doing a special video to show you how I am documenting my October spooky reads. Now, mind you, a lot of my books took a long time to get in. So I am going to go ahead and read spooky books, mystery books, all that kind of stuff into November. So leave a comment if you think that sounds like a good idea, or what you think about that. But I have so many books, and if you've seen my Instagram recently, you know I have a lot of books. Okay, so back to this project. I have a cut file from Ashley with the bookshelf for October reads, and what I did is I extracted the book shape, and I doubled it so that way I could have a folding book, so basically my own miniature book. And I was able to make 5 of them, and now I'm using some copy paper to make the shape of the book. That way I can take my Cameo cut pieces and lay them on top of this book shape. And then I can use my bone folder and my scoring board to score them in the middle. I'm going to try to create a little bit of a spine as best as I can while I'm doing this. So you'll just have to bear with me as I'm making these books. But as I was editing, I realized there wasn't a lot that I could take out because it was very intricate trying to make these books, and I have to repeat the process 5 times. But it was so worth it because it is a very cool interactive page. Again, I am just taking my template from this copy paper and also from the shapes that I have here that I cut out with my Cameo. I used the October Lane collection from Ashley Horton, and I took a few of the journaling cards like Spooky and also the pumpkins, and I shrunk them way down. Same thing with the papers. So I wound up using the journaling cards in a new way. I even took some of the die cuts and shrunk those down so that way the scale matched the bookshelves. So I have a butterfly, spiders, and I even have a spooky witch hat that I can set on my shelves. So as you can see, I kind of score down the middle for the spine of my books and then fold it. Now, I could have and probably should have cut my book covers so that way they covered the entire length of this book shape, but in the end, it worked out because the reason I had them different is because the front covers had more of the fun patterns and the backing was more of the pattern papers. So like the spooky and the pumpkin journaling card, those are more the fun ones. And I don't know, I just didn't think about duplicating them so that way I could fit them across the entire book shape. Like here, I have spooky journaling card, and then I added in a pattern paper. And I'm having to do a lot of finagling. There's a fun word. I'm having to do a lot of finagling to get the book, the orange piece to slip underneath the spooky, because it's going to be a little tricky once I try to fold it. And so it's important that the back paper tucks underneath the front, because that will make it easier to get a spine. And that way the back paper is not kind of sticking up because of the folding of this book, if that makes sense. So I just had to make sure that I had enough of the back pattern paper to tuck underneath the front piece. And then I will go ahead and repeat this process 4 other times. And on this star card, I was having a little bit of trouble getting those pieces to come together and stay together. So I decided to use some washi tape on this book, and it actually worked out really great. And I might do that again if I decide to make a second shelf. I don't think that I used another piece of washi tape for any of the book covers. I tried with the orange pumpkin card one, but I didn't like the appearance of it, so I wound up peeling it off. So I found some thin gray washi tape, and I went ahead and added that onto the spine. Then I will move on to my next one. I also just trim off any of the extra paper or anything like that, so that way there's no copy paper hanging over, and it basically matches the size. Everything is relatively the same size. I also printed a few books that I've already read, mostly kid books and a graphic novel, and I printed those book covers using the same shape that I was able to extract from the cut file. So I'm going to be able to include those. For these pumpkins, again, I'm doing the same thing. I made sure that the papers are tucked together, and then I could make a spine. And I'm just scoring 2 lines to make a spine in the middle of the book. I have 1 more paper to do, I think. Yeah. No, 2 more. 2 more books to do, and I made this striped paper from the pattern paper in the kit, and I just had to shrink it all the way down. And again, just folding and finagling, and in the end, like I said, it was a lot of fun to put this together. It was a lot of fun to think outside the box, and that's one of the reasons that I really love October Daily and also December Dailies, because both of these projects lend themselves to playing and just having a lot of fun and doing different techniques to document your stories, and that's what I love. So on this last little book, I grabbed some cardstock. I thought I had cut the back cover, but I couldn't find it, so I just used cardstock, and that worked great. So I'm going to fold that book over, and then I can start to build my shelves. Now, when I was starting to think about the shelves, I had this black backing and then I had white backing, and I couldn't make up my mind, but I eventually go with the white, and I just distress the edges, and the shelves are actually orange, but it's an orange pattern paper from the digital collection. I just clipped in the papers in Photoshop Elements. Okay, so before I put the shelves down, I wanted to try something. So I grabbed a scrap piece of paper and some markers. I thought, you know what, I can probably color in these shelves. Let me just see how it looks. So I tried an orange. I didn't really like that. I tried a different shade of orange. I didn't like that. Then I found my kind of neutral brown, which reminded me of like a regular bookcase, I guess, a wood bookcase. So I went ahead with that, and I felt so smart using a piece of scratch paper to figure out this idea instead of like testing it on my white cutout, because if I didn't like it, my white cutout, I'd have to cut it out again, right? So good job to me, right? Don't you just love that when we have happy accidents and you're like, wow, I did that. I'm so smart. Oh my goodness. So I have the shelves on the white cutout, and I want to make sure I punch my holes because I know that the October Reads is going to go vertical on the side. I am inking the edges of this bookcase since it is a spooky, October themed bookcase. And as you can see, I dropped the ink pad. So now there's a awesome spot on my board, but that's okay. My board is always messy. And I also inked the October Reads. That way the white wasn't so plain, I guess you could say. I put the black outline first and then the white letters on next. I'm then going to add on the shelves, and after that color them in. So I put down the October Reads, and I'm loving how this is coming together. It's looking so good. So I'm going to glue down these shelves and then get out that marker that I used and fill in the shelves. Okay, and so also with the books, I am going to make them interactive with the Velcro. And I got this idea from Nancy, and I can't say her last name, Damiano. I'll link her Instagram, but she's amazing and so inspiring. And last year she used some sort of I want to say bungee cord, some sort of cord to kind of strap her books in and make them interactive. So I decided to use Velcro, and that way I could use little strips of Velcro and pull the books off by, using the Velcro. So I'm going to do that in just a little bit. I have the teeny tiny letters from the Boo, but I don't think that I'm adhering them right now. I'm going to go ahead and wait on adhering them. So I'm filling in the shelves with that brown marker, and I also wanted to mention, well, I already talked about it, how I might add a second shelf. When I was playing around with this cut file, I was trying to figure out how I could extend the bookshelf to make it like a, you know, a double page, double bookcase, but I couldn't quite figure it out. So if I do decide to add to this page, I will either add something on the left-hand side that's totally separate, or maybe I'll just add this page in the beginning of the album and then another page at the end. So that way I have two sections of books, because there's nothing wrong with two sections of books. So, because I love books. Okay, so my Velcro. I am cutting the two pieces that I need, like the two sticky parts that I need, and I'm cutting them for every single book. But I ran into a problem, and I think it's because I was cutting the pieces so small. The little black fuzzies were getting everywhere, and it was just bugging me. It was bugging me so much that eventually I am going to decide to rip up 3 of them and only keep 2 of them. So only 2 of them are going to have Velcro, which is fine because the books are still going to open, but the Velcro ones are going to open and pull off of the shelf. I pop dotted the witch's hat and added a little potion behind the hat, and also a little tiny spider. I shrunk it down so that way the scale was correct. And then I also added in a butterfly in a frame. You know how there's butterflies and insects pinned inside of frames? That's kind of what I was going for. I just didn't have the pins, and I don't want to pin in pretty butterflies. I just don't want to do that. So you can see I'm wiping off some of those fuzzies. They were just annoying me. I'm not sure how I would be able to fix that. If you guys know how to prevent little things like that, little fuzzies from the Velcro, I'd love to know in the comment section how you would prevent that. So I am going to start putting on my books. I have a Velcro one down in the bottom, and I think I decided to leave one on the middle shelf. And I absolutely love this. So if you stuck with me this long, thank you. I just really wanted to leave in all the steps of putting together the books and all the finagling and folding and scoring, and I really wanted you to see every single step as I brought this to life. Okay, so I am gluing in the, I'm attaching all the Velcro, but I just peeled off the ones that I'm not going to use. And like I said, I'm going to put one in the middle shelf and then just adhere the other books, and you'll still be able to open them. I still have to glue down the boo letters, and I'm going to do that in a second. I also am going to grab some wood veneer pieces. That way there was something kind of, I always want to say something real, but this whole project is real, but I guess it's all digital printed, but I just think of embellishments as something real. But I guess the word could be dimensional. I'm going to grab something dimensional, like the Colorcast pieces, and I have a whole stash of reading Colorcast pieces from over the years, and I just hoard them. So I have must read and then always reading. And I thought about using a purple flower for both phrases and just backing it, but in the end I decided to just cut it in half, tuck one piece into one wood veneer, and then the other one will just peek out of the top. So I'll just glue that stuff down and then peel the wood veneer and then go digging through my stash for some enamel dots that will work. I think my orange enamel dots were slightly off color, but you know, who cares? And I'm just glad I had a few left, and then I'm going to put it in the album and it will be done. I love how this came together. So on Monday, I showed you a really simple pocket page idea with a full photo, and now today I showed you a complex bookcase that's interactive and fun and documents all the seasonal reading. So your projects can go either way, and I hope you've enjoyed. I'd love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you're new to my channel. Have a good day. Bye.